And we are back once again. It's your friendly neighborhood film viewers, the Frankly Football. I am Brandon.
Man, I'm setting off Chris, man. Back in the hood to help you do what was most good. How y'all feeling out there, man? How you doing, B?
Chris, I ain't feeling too good, man. We were one score away from being 2-1. And instead we had to fall to the Seattle Seahawks, by 31-38. And I got a lot of gripes about the defense, but I will say this. The Seahawks averaged, coming into this game, 37.5 points. We didn't really let them run it up and expose our defense any more than they have their previous opponents.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I'm thankful for that. I'm not optimistic about that, but I'm thankful for
it. I think they, after having a couple of days and to kind of digest it, get a look at it. I think you said you watched it about 3 times. I've watched it at least twice. I did a condensed version. I'm probably going to go back again and look at the all 22. And you see that you're right there, but you're a play away, you're a click away. And we've said this before that mid-season form is important.
That's right.
And I think when we go through this breakdown, me and you going to see some different things that we saw that we liked and what we didn't like. So let's go and get it cracking, man. Let's see how this thing rolls.
Absolutely, man. And you mentioned mid-season form. I think my offense is in mid-season form. I have zero complaints about my offense outside of some particular players on the line. I think that my quarterback.
Okay, I don't think they're in mid-season form. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't feel they're in mid-season form. Is my quarterback playing out of his mind? Absolutely, he's playing out of his mind. But the thing about it, they're not in mid-season form because we've had 3 games with 3 really slow starts, to say the least. We turned around in this game. We started out, we were driving the ball, we were moving it up the field. Turned around at the end of the drive. We had to kick a field goal. Now, then once we get the ball back, we're able to move a little bit, but we haven't been able to get up on somebody 7, 14, 17 on someone right now. And that has to do with the other side of the ball isn't playing as well. But I think my offense still has room to expand because I'm not running the football the way I want to run the football, and that will give me the ability to be more explosive on offense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of that comes from your defense, being what's the word I'm looking for? When a sponge gets full of water, it just lets water pass through it. That's how your defense is acting.
Okay. See, this is why I like dealing with you because I look at it different. I think you stopped on the first 5 drives. You got 4 3-and-outs. I think you turned around and you had miscues by your offense that turned around and kind of beat you. You did have, as we all know, you had the big bomb to Tyler Lockett, but inside that drive, you had 1 big long run by Carson. Then once you turned around and they sucked you in the play action, now I still don't know what the safeties were looking at. To this day, I've watched that play 7 times, and I still don't know what the safeties were looking at when they let Tyler Lockett run right past them.
Oh, you said it right, Tyler Rocket, because he did look like
he was a rocket.
He was killing him. Flying past him.
Yeah, so he turned around and he runs right by him. Then you turn right back around, you score, you're in the groove, and then they come back and they score again, right? They score again. And then at the end of the half, I was sitting down talking to my son, and, we were looking at the route that Amari Cooper ran that caused the interception. And it's crazy because you got to go back and look at it. And this is why watching film, anybody who subscribed to us, who's hit the like button, who's had an opportunity to do it, when you go back and look at the film, you'll see that Shaquille Griffin turned around and watched Amari Cooper use a feint step in his release. So if you go back and look at the film inside that drive, it's 2 plays. The first time you start off, instead of Cooper initially starting off forward, he takes a step backwards. Then he takes off. Then the very next play, the play starts, and Amari Cooper's 2 steps behind everybody in the play, which slows the entire play up from the offensive aspect, but not the defensive aspect. You follow me? So it's like we're in a foot race, but you got 2 steps on me until I take my 1. That gives you the ability to try to decipher the route more because of the leverage that you give it, and that's why Griffin was able to slide underneath to get the interception. Now, we blame Dak for holding it, but Dak had to hold it where he held it because if he throws it,
let a guy get open.
Huh? You got to let the guy get open.
Let him develop.
Right. But the thing about it is when I initially saw it from the TV view, I said you got to throw it to his upfield shoulder. But if Dak throws it up to his upfield shoulder, they're carting Amari Cooper off the field.
Absolutely.
So it's a like I don't say the midseason form because they have little miscues here, there, and there that cause them to give up points and hurt them. From the touchdown, Tony Pollard miscue with muffs the kickoff. You turn around the next play, your boy, not mine, Joe Looney gets blown up in the backfield. That turns around and causes the safety. The defense comes out after the safety, gets a 3 and out, gets the ball back.
Absolutely.
Gets the ball back.
Speaking of your defense,
right.
The defensive front has been vastly improved. Aldon Smith is actually leading the league in sacks right now.
Okay.
In case you didn't know that, he has 4 sacks. The next closest guy has 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
And you just see the development of that entire defensive front. Tristan Hill, your guy,
Trigger Trey's my dude.
is developing into a fine middle defender.
He might get fined.
Griffin.
He may get fined for his actions at the end of the game, but keep going.
Stop it. That was not that's a normal play. That's a normal play.
Okay.
If you look week 1 against the Rams, they tried to do the same thing today.
Okay.
Anyway, you have a finely meshed defensive front that is steadily coming around. And they're not even in their final form yet because they haven't gotten that man back yet who will be coming in the middle of the season. Your linebackers, I feel, progressed well as well. I think, Jalen Smith did what they made sure that their linebackers were in position where they could succeed. And I mentioned that against the Falcons. I wanted them to put Jalen Smith in situations where he can succeed, and they did that.
Okay.
They did that with all of our linebackers, I think. And that position group also has a guy coming back in Leighton Vander Esch, hopefully with a fully cybernetic neck, in the middle of the season as well.
You got more faith for Wolf Hunter coming back. I'm kind of maybe thinking Sean Lee. You got Sean Lee and the Wolf Hunter coming back. So you get a little more reinforcement towards the middle. Okay.
Absolutely.
Keep going. Mm-hmm.
Now, taking a step back, your cornerbacks, they were shaky in the game. I'll be totally honest. But
shaky? Shaky? That's the word you're using? Shaky?
Well, I mean, the Titanic was shaky when it was sinking.
No, the Titanic was sinking. The Titanic
it shook a little bit. I'm sure it shook a little bit.
And it ripped the whole boat open. So the whole ship open. So I would say of your secondary.
Yes. Trayvon Diggs. That's the only name that you need to say.
That's it. That's
the only name that you need to say.
The rest of the guys, they all need to get a check back.
Absolutely. But here's the great thing about your cornerbacks. You have Anthony Brown and Cheeto coming back within a few weeks, hopefully.
But there was a time
getting reinforcements is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but there's a time, aka the late night hype, shout out to those guys. They were big upping Daryl Worley. He's the guy.
Now here's the thing though. I big up Daryl Worley when we made our video talking about what the 53-man roster would be. If you haven't checked that out, you should. I'm ashamed of you if you haven't.
Yeah.
But when we made that video, I talked about Daryl Worley because he had experience playing both corner and safety.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. You now have Brandon Carr who has done that before. You didn't have Brandon Carr when we were putting together the roster.
Okay.
So, yes, I think that having Daryl Worley's versatility is a great, great tool, but you have someone else who I think is a better defender who does that as well.
Okay. All right.
Now, I brought up all levels. I brought up all levels of the defense to say this.
Okay.
At the safety position, you don't have reinforcements coming. I said a few weeks ago and I'm willing to fall on this sword. I said, and matter of fact, I can say this was a few months ago. I said that I don't think a team can ever be just a safety away.
You did say that. You did say that.
Right now, the Cowboys are 2 safeties away.
So your statement still stands true. You're not a safety away. You 2 safeties away.
Absolutely.
Because between Xavier Woods and what's my man's name again?
Darian Thompson.
Yeah, Darian Thompson. I can't even remember the guy's name because he's like non-existent. I don't know which one's worse, but I think they're playing 9 on 11 when it comes to the secondary because Woods is not doing anything of any factor that I see. He's not knocking down any passes. He's not defending tight ends. He's not staying to his deep part of the third. He's just out there. And then and my man Thompson is he's just a guy.
Absolutely. I feel like both of them are just the guys. And here's the thing. Prior to the start of the season, X Woods had a chip on his shoulder, and I was rooting for him. He made the tweet talking about he hears all of the Cowboys fans wanting them to draft a safety, and it's just gonna add fuel for him. I wish he
what kind of fuel he got? He need some high octane? He Supreme because right now he's moving on some like 82 octane.
Absolutely.
He's null and void. He needs some gas because he ain't moving nowhere.
Absolutely.
Whatever fuel he needs.
Now that leads me to this. Because we are missing out on 2 of our starting guys, there needs to be mass reevaluation in the secondary because you can't have the overconfidence. The coaching staff anyway can't have the overconfidence, the arrogance to think that we got our guys right here. The starters are the starters and they'll get better. They thankfully didn't have that level of arrogance in the offensive line. I want them to have the same amount of balls to move guys around in the secondary, to bring in someone, whether they are on our team or not. Okay. I'm not going to say any particular names.
There's no names that will be uttered.
In order to make your secondary better, because at the end of the day, that's what you need. You need to make your secondary better.
So in week 4 of the season, and we're gonna put this. We're not gonna speak this person's name who we're talking about bringing from the outside. I don't think you can bring anybody in from the outside. I think you have to deal with the people you already have, and sing that old gospel song. Help is on the way, because you gotta hope that when Chidobe gets back, because they're 3 weeks out, so they should be back this week. I think
Chidobe, I believe Chidobe played week 1. Am I wrong?
Week 1, he played week 2. He played week 2, 1 and 2.
Okay. So that means that he is now he still has to miss 1 more game.
Okay. So, but Anthony Brown, did he play at all?
I don't believe that he played week 1 or 2. If he played week 1, he definitely did not play week 2. So he can come back. If you bring Brown back, you put him in a slot. That means you do a slot, because Jordan Lewis upon his return has been very Velcro-y, very grabby, very touchy-feely, Absolutely.
So I think I can get him on. I can keep him on maybe limited snaps. But in my secondary or in my safety position, I think the guy you got to put out there is your boy, Donovan Wilson.
Now, I talked to you about this before we started recording. There are 2 guys on this team that I have the same thought about. He hasn't played yet, despite troubles with the starter. So what is going on in that practice field that we don't have the luxury of seeing due to the whole special practices and COVID situation? Where is Donovan Wilson not succeeding in practice? Because prior to all of this, he had all of the hope in the world.
Oh, he definitely was a guy that we all wanted to see after having such a strong preseason, and then wanting to see him get eased in because some folks didn't appreciate the level of professionalism and greatness that the GOAT, Jeff Heath, provided. Because you would take Jeff Heath. You take Jeff Heath right now over Darian Thompson. I know it hurts.
I'm not going to confirm nor deny that. I'm not going to confirm nor deny that.
Oh, it's in your eyes. It's in your eyes. You
I'm
take
not
the
confirm
right now.
nor deny that.
Okay, so if you won't confirm, and you sure enough ain't going to deny that you wouldn't mind having the GOAT out there, then you're trying to find out what you got with Donovan Wilson. If he's going to be able to be a guy who make a play on the ball and go after it. I don't buy into this. It's too complicated. But I do buy into the fact they need more reps.
Absolutely.
I do buy into that. So I think, as I said, I think help is on the way within repetitions. The only problem we have is you get your reps now and they keep score. You've given up 77 points from the defensive side in the last 2 games, but you've seen give up a bunch of points in the first half, lock it down in the second half. Offense make bad mistakes in the first half and put them in short fields and stress the defense, but the offense able to put points on the board and the defense to go and play well in stretches. So It's not like every time they get up, teams get the ball, they're scoring every time they get it. No, they go 2-3 series without scoring. It's just that we're getting better incrementally each game. But right now, just getting scored on.
And I think that we are seeing a slight progression to where we thought that this defense would be. The consensus on this defense prior to the start of the season is that you're going to get pressure from your front, and that's going to ease the tension on your back end. You're getting there. You're getting there. Now, it just so happens that you play it against not even arguably, a objectively top 3 quarterback in the league in Russell Wilson.
No, he's not top 3. He's top 2. Absolutely. He's an elite. We've talked about this. It's Patrick Mahomes, little future's daddy, and then everybody else. Okay?
Absolutely.
Aaron Rodgers right now is playing high. Lamar, to me, is almost at his ceiling. And that's a topic for another whole discussion.
Wow.
That's a whole nother discussion. MVP and all, I think he's almost
that tape raised the temperature in my house.
Oh yeah. I think he almost at his ceiling. Almost at his ceiling.
That's
because
I'm gonna take notes, and that's gonna be an off-season.
Take notes on it. I said it. You know what I'm saying? I said it with my chest because I'm getting to the point of looking at Lamar when he plays certain teams. Now, I'm going to have to see him later on the year, but people are getting film on him. If he can't turn the corner, you can keep him flat. I would beg to differ. Here's my take. I'll never get Patrick Mahomes because there's only one of him. Mm-hmm. My quarterback can progress to be more like Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But I think Brandon Dakota Prescott's better than Lamar Jackson right now as a passer.
Oh, okay, here we go.
As a passer.
Write these notes down.
Yeah, go ahead and put it down.
As a passer, okay. As a passer, yes, I can.
As a passer, yes, I can agree. As a passer, okay, of the football, yeah. I think Lamar's offense is predicated and set to showcase his strengths, which is running. He can throw. I'm not saying he can't throw, but I can't expect Lamar to turn around and sit in the pocket and throw passes like I saw Rain do the other day.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
Now let's bring that back to our soiree with the Seahawks. Gotcha. We just played against a top 2 quarterback in this league. I think that when you play against lesser competition, for example, whether it's Jimmy Garoppolo or Gardner Minshew, no, not Gardner Minshew, whatever, Nick Mullins, there we go, in in San Francisco. I think you can do those type of things to them.
Okay.
So we just have to see it happen against Earthlings. Russell isn't an Earthling.
No. Luke, no, he's not. I don't think. No, Russell's different. But here's the problem: you can't give Russell short fields. You can't give Russell the ability to have plays extended by penalties, because when that doesn't happen, he looks like a mortal. He looks mortal. You had drives in that first quarter and going into the second quarter that you got him off the field. You got him off the field, and then you turned around and you had something go. I mean, perfect example. You turned around at the end of the second quarter, you stopped him. You're gonna punt. You punted the ball away. You're driving back the other way, but then you turn around and have one play where you make the interception, bad throw, bad route. Whichever way you want to look at it, I'm going to lean more to the route because Dak had to throw it. But that goes with Dak saying, you know what, I'm going to throw that out of bounds so I can live to play the next play.
Yes,
because it's like the maturity that Russell has, Rain is getting to that point right now.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's what that kind of be. I watched the guy in his prime do his thing. I watched a very good up-and-coming fifth-year quarterback
do similar things.
Show me things he can do, but I need him to take that next click over, and I think that's the difference.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about this offensive line. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of Terrence Rust.
Wait a minute, man. Terrence Rust? Okay.
Rust, man.
Wait a minute. So people, if y'all understand, me and Brandon, we have a pretty good affiliation with a lot of the YouTube Dallas Cowboy YouTubers, and we turned around and started changing Terrence Steele's name to everything but what he is, because he's far from steel. He's Terrence Plastic. He's Terrence Paper. He's Terrence Rust. He's Terrence Aluminum. So his new name is Terrence Rust. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I love it because you can break through Rust easy.
Yeah. Okay.
So obviously, we thought that he wanted after week 1.
Right.
I'm glad that the coaching staff was comfortable enough with themselves to make a change at offensive line. Now, I am going to stress on that first. Offensive line is not one of those positions where you'll bench a guy. You'll bench a quarterback before you will bench an offensive lineman.
Yes, absolutely, because he's 40% of your offense. He's 40% of your offense. So when you move apart, it changes. It changes it drastically. So to take your all-pro right guard, a guy who has been all-pro from the day he took his first snap in the NFL, and kick him out to right tackle, something you've never seen him do, that's special.
Absolutely.
That is absolutely special. Now, here's one thing I know, too. Jason Garrett would have never moved him.
Not a day in his life.
Never, ever moved him to right tackle in the middle of the game. Go ahead.
Now, here's the other thing. They also moved Joe Looney. I want to stress the importance of that. The center, I think, outside of your left tackle, is probably the most important offensive line position.
I think you can hide a center.
I'm not sure.
Did it for years.
The center's the brain of your line.
He could be the brain, but I think when you got smart football players and you got talented football players, you can hide them. He doesn't have to be the strongest, fastest, but I think for years the Cowboys did that with the Great Wall. They hit Stepnoski for years.
Yes.
They hit him, between Nate Newton and Gogan and Tui and all those guys and Eric Williams, they hit him. So you can hide a center. I think what they did by bringing in Tyler Biadasz is they upgraded the center position.
Yeah,
and
100%.
having Joe.
Do I need to go?
Oh yeah, you got to say it. Let me finish though. You upgraded the center position, and it made your liability go from being your left guard to being your right guard being your liability. But that pocket was how clean Sunday after you put Tyler Biadasz in it?
I think it was great. I think it was 100% upgrade because they did one more thing. They erased the routes in the tight end tree at the tight end position. I feel like they just took the whiteboard and removed the lines from it. And that it was necessary. The guy needed help. He did look lost. Week 1, you had the excuse of it's Aaron McDonald. Week 2, you had the excuse of it's Takk McKinley. And I forget the guy name who caused all of the fumbles. Week 3.
Oh yeah. Did you talk about the linebacker?
Yes. For Atlanta. Week 3, right. you don't have that excuse. So it was like a volcanic eruption. You felt the rumbles in the first 2 weeks. In week 3, it finally erupted, and you didn't have any more excuses. Now, for the coaching staff to move Joe Looney from center to guard,
right?
That tells me some things. The same. Now, I mentioned this question about Donovan Wilson. What is Connor McGovern doing in practice that we don't have the luxury of seeing? Because we had all of the hype for him that he could eventually be the guy.
We had all the hype that he was the guy.
Yeah.
This coaching staff didn't draft him, so therefore they're trying to see what he's going to do. But at the end of the day, who was he going to take off the field? That was your question. Hold on. He came in, you were expecting who was he going to take off the field? Without any injury, if your offensive line is intact, who does he take off the field?
Do I need to say it?
I mean, no. I'm talking about your starting 5 healthy. Tyron, Connor Williams, right? Tyler Biadasz. Do you put him in right? And Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, Lyle Collins. You got those 5, but you don't have that now. You got
that's right.
You got your 3 games missed by Tyron Smith, which you already knew you were going to get. Bow. Hopefully, you got those out the way. So now he comes back. Boom, he's ready to go. I don't have as much of a problem with Connor Williams as the rest of Cowboy Nation does.
Me either.
Right.
I've said this in appearances on other Cowboys YouTubers shows. It's okay to not be an all-pro at every position.
Right. Absolutely.
We know that Zach. Let me preface this by saying this. Most teams in the league, matter of fact, all 32 teams in the league would do diabolical things, absolutely evil things, to have proficient guard play.
Okay.
I think we all know that Zach Martin is still a top 5 guard in this league. I would go above and beyond and say top 5 offensive linemen in this league.
Okay.
As far as guards go, there's 64 starters. I believe that Connor Williams is somewhere between 30 and 35.
Right.
Middle of the pack. And there's nothing wrong with being average to slightly above average. There's nothing at all wrong with that.
Nothing. There's nothing. And so, but what happens is, what you always know and what we always see, Connor Williams will go play 15, 20. He'll play his 40, 45 plays and play well, but it's the one play he gives up that they turn around and they beat him for. He turns around, he gets beat on a move and gets a strip sack. People are going to jump him down about it. Zeke gets blown up in the backfield on a running play. It's going to the left side. Everybody else, if defenders are getting in, they're automatically thinking, "Oh, Connor Williams got beat." No, that's not the truth. So I think Connor Williams continues to round in the form. Like I always said, he had a bad knee because he had the ACL surgery. So he's rounding in the form too on the fly, on the absolute fly. So I think my ideal offensive line, if you can get them both back, which is a big question mark, it's Tyron, Connor Williams, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, and Lyle Collins. That's who I'd want.
Now, at this point in time, we don't know if Lyle's even going to play this season. They're talking about hip surgery for him. So, You're going to have to make some adjustments there anyway. Obviously, if you get Tyron back, then you can kick Brandon Knight over to the opposite side.
Yeah, you can. You can. If you get Tyron back, you can put Brandon Knight to the right side, and your problem is still solved because you keep your integrity inside, and then you continue to roll with that. The problem goes back to what you're saying. What is Connor McGovern doing? Is he in there lifting weights, eating his peanut butter and banana sandwiches, getting bigger, getting stronger, working on his technique, and you can see him down the road? But unless the only place he can go that you can feel comfortable with right now is left guard. And I don't think he's better than one of the top 15 to 18 guards in the NFL.
Now, here's the thing. Connor Williams could then kick out to the right side, replacing Joe, and putting Zach back outside to tackle. If we're once again missing both Tyron and Lyell.
So you said if we miss Tyron and Lyell, you want to keep Brandon Knight at left side, and who you gonna put in right?
Zach Martin.
So who you gonna put inside?
Both of the Connors. Ideally, that's what I would do. But I don't know what Connor McGovern is lacking to where the coaching staff didn't even want to put him over Joe Looney. That was my point of mentioning we don't know what he's doing.
Right.
We don't know how poorly or well he's performing on that practice field to where the coaching staff didn't even feel like pulling Joe Looney.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree that. That is a huge, huge statement and an absolute true statement. Because if I can't trust you in practice, how the heck do you expect me to trust you in the games?
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay. And one last thing for us to touch on, I guess, because we didn't really talk about the offense, because I think that it was, clean. I could have gave the offense the white glove treatment, and that came with a speck of dust on his hand.
Really?
Yeah, my quarterback is a gangster. He threw for almost 500 yards.
All right, okay. Listen, you'll never get an argument about Rain being the dog that he is. I just believe the dimension that hurt you, that could have really helped you Sunday, you had to take away because you had to keep him in and block, and it's your tight end situation. I think they were prime picked to be able to be beaten down the seam, over the top with the wide receivers, with the running backs. But when you took Dalton completely out of the game, not physically,
it was necessary.
Okay.
So I'm not upset with it. I think that the running back situation, same thing. Zeke wasn't able to get off of the ground, so it's just one of those days. Has to happen.
Right.
And I don't think that Zeke had a great day through the air either. He got like 12 targets and only caught 6 of them.
Right. And that's a lot. But that came from a lot of mindset of running a lot of screens, getting the run side to side. And I just couldn't understand how that made sense with a team that's not a big time penetrating team, but a team that can run from side to side, from sideline to sideline. Why did you not just figure out how to kind of go off tackle, continue to pound it, continue to work it in your favor? But I mean, he was getting like 2-3 yards to carry on before, they abandoned it.
But that's because your line started off very poor.
Right.
Both of those situations come back to the line. And like I said, it just happens. Tony didn't get much action, obviously, because he got on the coach's bad side early in the game.
Right.
Can't hate on it because the running game as a whole didn't really get off the ground. And as for your, I gotta say 5-headed monster now at receiver. Well, we could say 4 because Noah didn't really have a huge day, but you had the emergence of Cedric Wilson, who we saw his speed really take over. And it just shows me continuously that there are not many teams, if any, in this league that has as many offensive weapons as the Cowboys do.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a refreshing thing to see Cedric come on and be that guy after having a bad injury, coming back next year, kind of figuring his way out and going forward. And I think that's what it is, B. I think these guys are swimming without a full offseason, without full OTAs and a full training camp, and they're trying to take down this terminology, and they're like, okay, X plus Y plus C equals 18. Okay, I got it. And then you run back and say, who does who, what does what, who factors out? And I think that's what they're doing. So I think as they continue to get more reps, it helps. I'm to the point, because I believe this, and what we believe here at Franklin Baptist Football is that coaching matters.
That's right.
I won't put my stamp on this team until week 9.
I can't hate on it because I think that, after week 4 anyway, that's when teams are going to be in what would normally be the regular season form because they didn't get a full off season. So my initial prediction was that after week 4, that's when we're really going to see who teams are. Obviously, it's just higher stakes. There's high stakes while they're trying to get to that form.
Absolutely.
Week 9, a team really being at, having all of the cylinders, going, firing. I can't hate on that. Because, hey, these are very special circumstances.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean.
That's right.
So what we're dealing with, but everybody's dealing with it. But I still think, like you said, if I had to rate the offense, I'd give the offense an 8. But you got to stop turning the ball over. You got to stop. You got to stop turning the ball over. You got to stop giving my defense short fields. I would give the defense probably a 5.
Yep.
About a 5 because they haven't been terrible, but they haven't been great. They haven't taken the ball away. They haven't caught a big sudden change for us, so that's a big deal. And then special teams, they need to be more special.
Yeah.
They gave up. For the time that I was watching, they gave up 2 points and we put them up by 1 point going into halftime.
Absolutely.
So
gave up 2 points and cost us 2 points.
Right. So it gets to the point where they got piece. It's like they're like a finely tuned engine that's trying to start, and the fire plugs are hitting all over, and they got to hit at one certain time. And I think that's what we all want. I think we all want a clean game. Clean game with very few penalties and a lot of explosives from that offense.
Absolutely, man. Well, I think that's all the time that we got for this video. The limitations of Zoom are about to hit us. But we are not done tonight. We definitely burning that midnight oil. So thank y'all so much for sticking with us throughout all of this. I hope we make y'all work day better so you can listen to something like this while you're just chilling and driving and all of that good stuff. So once again, on behalf of Franklin Football, I am Brandon.
Hey, man, I'm Set It Off Chris, man. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.